Could you stay focused while jumping off rocky cliffs or pushing a wheel-less Jeep across miles of scorching desert? Or endure extreme cold with no rest, as your mind and body are pushed to their limits? These are just a few of the trials faced by the most disciplined military forces in the world. While an army's success involves factors like strategy, technology, and logistics, a key element is the relentless discipline of its soldiers. They are trained to handle the most extreme and dangerous situations with calm and control. Now, let's explore what makes some of these troops the most disciplined on the planet. The People's Liberation Army of China is the largest military force in the world, with over 2.5 million soldiers. Discipline is a crucial part of their military training. For instance, new recruits are taught that loyalty to the Chinese state must come above all else, which is tied to a strict chain of command and intense physical activity. As part of their war preparation, new soldiers are ordered to run at least 5 kilometers every day and undergo unexpected battle simulations. The training also includes daunting actions, like jumping off rocky cliffs into rivers. The Special Operations Unit faces even more rigorous training. One of the most challenging exercises is called barrier overcoming, where soldiers must scale 10 fences under heavy machine gun fire after walking 40 kilometers while carrying heavy gear. The training is so exhausting that between 50% and 90% of recruits fail the first phase. Those who wish to pass must have exceptional physical and psychological discipline. And for those who do succeed, the pressure only increases. If a soldier wants to quit, the situation becomes even more difficult, with severe penalties such as fines, travel bans, and in extreme cases, public humiliation. Chinese soldiers can also be expelled for around 40 different acts of misconduct, like insubordination or avoiding combat. Still, many volunteers enlist, so much so that since 1949, mandatory military service has not been necessary. What sets Chinese soldiers apart is the strong state propaganda that instills in them an intense and unwavering sense of duty and loyalty to the country. The Indian Armed Forces, historically known for charging into battle on massive war elephants, continue to project immense power today. The Indian Army is renowned for its highly skilled and experienced infantry troops, including light infantry regiments and the esteemed Maratha regiments, which have a rich tradition of valor and combat effectiveness. These lightly equipped battalions are extremely agile and specialize in using endurance, speed, agility, and stealth to overcome their enemies. Such characteristics demand a high level of confidence and self-sufficiency, allowing soldiers to quickly adapt to various situations on the battlefield. Looking back at history, it's evident that these qualified troops have been involved in nearly every major conflict over the last century, spanning Europe, the Middle East, and China. For instance, the significant contribution of the Indian Army in the Siam War showcased their expertise in high-altitude combat. The famous Siachen battlefield, located at 6,096 meters above sea level, is known as the highest battlefield in the world and has been a site of conflict between India and Pakistan since 1984. Soldiers stationed in this region undergo training at the renowned High-Altitude Warfare School, situated in the mountainous areas of Jammu and Kashmir, where they face unique challenges. When temperatures plummet below -50 degrees Celsius, these soldiers apply the rigorous training they have received to survive and operate in one of the planet's most demanding environments. During exercises, they practice climbing snowy cliffs and enduring exhausting 32 kilometers treks through rugged terrain. Additionally, they learn to descend steep slopes with inclines of 80 degrees while carrying 20 kilograms of equipment on their backs, requiring both skill and endurance. The High-Altitude Warfare School is frequently visited by US, UK, and German special forces, who seek insights into training under such harsh conditions. Although China has the largest army in the world, the United States is arguably the country with the most military experience, having been involved in numerous global conflicts. From the 2 world wars of the 20th century to recent engagements in the Middle East and Ukraine, the U.S. military has accumulated extensive combat knowledge that is continually refined through experience. To be ready to act anywhere at any moment, the U.S. Army implements one of the most challenging training programs globally, designed to prepare soldiers for extreme conditions. New recruits typically train at one of 5 bases, with Fort Jackson in South Carolina being the most common. They undergo an intense 10-week program divided into color-coded phases, with the red phase lasting 3 weeks and known for its harshness, leading many recruits to struggle and even fail. The most daunting challenge of this phase is the gas chamber training, where recruits enter a sealed room filled with tear gas and must remove their masks, exposing themselves to the irritant. This exercise is crucial in teaching recruits to maintain composure in chaotic situations, even as their bodies react strongly, underscoring the importance of mental resilience. While basic army training is difficult, the most disciplined unit is the SEALs, a prestigious special operations force. These soldiers are trained to operate in any terrain, from urban environments to remote wilderness, and carry out high-stakes missions such as capturing key targets or obtaining intelligence behind enemy lines, often under extreme pressure. The initial training for SEALs lasts a full year and is so intense that 90% of recruits drop out, with 75% quitting in the first 4 weeks during Hell Week. This week consists of 130 hours of continuous physical and mental challenges, mainly in frigid waters, with minimal rest, pushing recruits beyond their perceived limits. Those who complete this demanding training not only showcase their extraordinary discipline, but also demonstrate their readiness for critical operations. The Special Air Service of the United Kingdom, commonly known as the SAS, is undoubtedly one of the most respected military forces in the world. For example, we have all heard of the Special Air Service, which was formed during World War II to conduct parachute jumps behind enemy lines. The SAS is the longest operating special operations unit in the world. Due to the secretive nature of its missions, such as hostage rescues and covert reconnaissance, the SAS is known for its discretion. As a result, the internal procedures of the Special Air Service have been a closely guarded secret for years, and members generally do not disclose their roles to anyone except close family. What we do know is that all members of the battalion have a wide range of responsibilities that require specialized training and discipline. The SAS accepts only the best, and only active military personnel can apply to join this unit. The selection process is conducted in an extremely rigorous manner. Candidates are initially dropped in the treacherous Brecon Beacons Mountains, where they must carry equipment weighing 30 kilograms and participate in continuous hikes ranging from 20 to 80 kilometers for 3 weeks. The tests of mental and physical discipline continue with strategic training in Malaysia, which lasts 6 weeks and is known to include live ammunition. All these hikes test the soldiers' physical strength limits and are essentially a minimum requirement for these units. Those who pass the physical tests receive training in escape tactics and mental discipline through interrogation simulations. As part of this training, intense tactical interrogations are conducted to assess how well candidates can maintain confidential information under extreme conditions. After days of exposure to stress and noise, only soldiers with superior discipline are selected, with over 85% of candidates failing to complete this phase. Successful soldiers are rewarded with an SAS badge representing a winged dagger with the motto, "Who dares wins." Although the Australian Army has a relatively small force of around 90,500 members, they make up for it with expertise. The most notable unit is the Special Air Service Regiment, which specializes in clandestine reconnaissance missions with small teams. Only the bravest and most disciplined soldiers can participate in these extremely dangerous operations. The 21-day selection course, conducted in the rugged mountains of Western Australia, is famous for its physical and psychological challenges. One of the exercises involves moving a wheelless jeep for 5 kilometers within a time limit, a nearly impossible task. The training also requires soldiers to maintain a strong sense of humor under exhausting conditions, which, according to Australian military officials, is vital for fostering team bonds and keeping morale high. The Gurkhas are a group of warriors from the mountainous region of Gorkha in Nepal, famous for their motto, "Better to die than to be a coward." Their legendary feats date back to the British invasion of Nepal in 1814, when the Gurkhas inflicted a heavy defeat on the British Army, which later recruited them into its ranks. More than 200,000 soldiers have served in the British Gurkha Brigade, displaying exceptional courage and discipline. During World War II, a Gurkha rifleman named Lamgrang, at the age of 27, single-handedly defended his position against more than 200 Japanese soldiers, despite being seriously injured. He became one of 26 Gurkhas to receive the Victoria Cross, the highest military honor in Britain. With a rich military history, modern Turkey was formed after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, which ruled the Middle East and Eastern Europe from 1299 to 1923. The empire's growth was driven by the strict discipline imposed on Turkish soldiers, especially those living in rural areas who were accustomed to facing great challenges. Throughout history, Turkish warriors have defeated powerful enemies, such as the Mongols and European Crusaders, but they have also not hesitated to adopt disciplinary tactics from other nations. Today, the Turkish military focuses on addressing situations around countries like Syria, Iraq, and Iran. Military service is deeply rooted in Turkish culture and considered a sacred honor, being mandatory for 6 months for all healthy men between the ages of 20 and 41. During service, soldiers are trained by extremely disciplined commanders. The Underwater Attack Unit, SAT, for example, imposes the toughest training, including high-altitude free falls and precision shooting, during an intense 52-week process. The military force of Taiwan is always on alert due to the constant threat of invasion from China. Since 2004, Taiwanese forces have been intensely preparing to defend their territory. The Taiwanese Marines, known for their steel nerves, undergo a 10-week training program that includes the infamous Sky Path exercise, where they must crawl 100 meters over coral with bare chests, stopping at intervals to perform physical endurance exercises while their instructors pour salt water on their wounds. Additionally, Taiwan's special forces benefit from their alliance with the U.S., receiving intensive training from American instructors. The Taiwanese Special Operations Unit is compared to the U.S. Delta Force and the British Special Air Service, being one of the nation's most formidable combat forces. We're finishing up here. However, by clicking on the video that appears on your screen, you'll have access to content just as good as this. See you soon.